All right. And it's like nothing ever happened at all. No one needs to know about the major hiccup that happened with the practice hour this afternoon. Let's see. Tons of you in here. Great to have you back. Judith, Laura, so nice to see you in DC. Alice, lovely to have you joining us in the practice series again. Heather, how are you? Corey, good to see you again. Harmony, Mary, great to have you all here. Katie, Anne, Sue, Xavier. I don't know if we've met, but it's great to have you here.
I'm from France.
You're from France. Are you in
Yeah,
France right now,
yeah,
Xavier?
I am. Yeah,
Oh,
nice to meet
wonderful.
you.
Nice to meet you. And do you do the Atelier Libre with Marchutz?
Yes, I
Oh,
do.
wonderful. And that's how you found out about this?
Exactly. Yeah, I received the
What?
newsletter, so I thought, let's register, let's
Ah,
participate. I have a few friends coming from time to time. Maybe you met with Helen.
Helen. Helen comes for the practice hour too?
Yes, sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Mhm.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Mhm.
I'll keep an eye out for Helen. Xavier, how often do you paint with the Marchutz School in Aix?
I started in September, and I try to go 2 times a week there.
Wonderful. And do you
Mhm.
live in Aix?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I've been living in Sydney for 9 years, and
Oh, wow.
now then I moved to Singapore for 4 years, and now I'm back in France. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
where I'm from. I'm not from Aix-en-Provence initially,
Okay.
but we moved in this region. It's very nice to live around
Oh,
here.
yeah, great. Awesome. And did you paint or draw before?
Not much, no, not really. I did a little bit of sculpture when I was younger, like in my 20s. It was very fun.
Hmm.
But drawing or painting, no, never, not really. So yeah, I'm starting to have my sketchbook and trying to sketch as much as I can, and having a lot of fun. Yeah, painting at Leo Marchutz, really
Yeah.
nice, and yeah, it's like family almost. No,
Yeah, it certainly is.
a new family.
I
Yeah.
like to think of us as a tribe of
Uh,
painters, a tribe of artists.
how about you, Nick? Have you been there? Have you visited the atelier?
Yeah, I visited several times. Um, Most recently last summer,
Mhm.
and most soon this week actually. So
Okay,
yeah, this on Tuesday I'm flying to X and
okay.
I'll be there for 2 weeks.
Okay, I'll see you there
And
then.
yeah, I'll see you there. Exactly. Yeah, I'll see you at the studio.
Yeah, Catherine told me there was a big group coming from the 28th
Okay.
this weekend, no? Is that you? Is that you
Yeah,
coming
I
with a
mean,
bigger group?
I no, that's the group. That's the group that she's talking about. But I think
Mhm.
we're going to start on Wednesday, actually,
Okay.
and then we'll do some landscape painting. And yeah, I'll be there all of this week and all of next week. So yeah, I'll meet you in the studio.
All right. Good.
Right on.
So
Uh,
during the session, how is that organized? We have like a reference image and then we start drawing.
oh, Xavier, this is your first time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is your first time. I'm not as well prepared as I usually am. So I'll go through my little guidelines, okay?
Mhm.
So the practice hour is an opportunity for artists, all of us here right now, to get some practice. It's not a class. I don't have a lesson planned, but the idea is that I put a masterwork up on the screen, and it's a time for all of us to practice our skills, keep our hands warm with painting, really use it to practice on whatever we'd like, whether maybe it's color, maybe it's drawing. Some people are painting in the session right now. There might be
Okay.
some people who are only drawing. But yeah, we just take the hour to draw or paint whatever image I put on the screen. And I do it with you. So I haven't started yet because, again,
Yeah.
horribly disorganized today, but I paint with you, and you'll see that my desk is actually one of the participants. So I'll put my camera on my desk in just a minute, and you
Okay.
can watch me paint if that's helpful for you. You can
Mhm.
ask me questions. while I paint or while you're painting, if that's helpful for you. Um, so it can still be an opportunity to learn. All right. Generally, um, yeah, I welcome questions, but if you're not asking a question, I try to ask for people to stay muted just in case they have any background noise where they are, so people can work in relative quiet. I tend to yammer sometimes. Um, but also, if you are just in the zone and you want to work, you don't have to listen to me. You can mute me as well, and that's totally fine. So every
Mhm.
month we do this. Um, I invite all of my students from in-person classes I've done, online classes I've done, and this is how I stay in touch with them, and also how I make sure that all of my students continue to practice after they do a class with me. And Xavier, you got to this practice session from the Leo Marchutz School. Some people have done it found out about it through an online class I did with the Marchutz School. Some people found out about it through in-person classes I did in DC or online
Mhm.
classes I did with the Smithsonian. Um, so it's a mix of
Mhm.
everyone I've worked with before.
I mute myself, huh?
Cool.
Nick, this is Laura.
Hey, Laura, how are you?
Well, with this delay, I was thinking it just made me realize how I so appreciate having your practice hours. I was very uh getting very chagrined about it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to miss it this time. And I just realized how much I appreciated
Oh, Laura,
it.
thank you. I
Uh-huh.
Like I said, I was certainly perspiring and I felt like my hands were tied because I didn't really have a way of reaching all of you, you know, like efficiently because I couldn't get into the email account. Um, but yeah, I would have been disappointed if I couldn't make it either. Because I really enjoy getting to see all you all. You know. It's great that we all get to practice together. But yeah, I don't like letting people down. And I was definitely afraid of that for a moment there.
It was a great experience in DC at the National Gallery. How many of us were there? About 50, maybe almost close to 20. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think 20 people registered or maybe even 21 and about like yeah, 15 showed up, which is great. Yeah, I agree.
That, that was the first time I actually sketched in a public setting. So it
Oh
was
yeah.
pretty exquisite to I chose that Mary Cassatt to sit there and just zone everybody out and just do it since you gave us an hour. And it was, and then to sit with everyone and see everybody's work, what they did in the hour was really, really very just a great experience. Great
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. Thank you for coming, Laura, and thank you to everyone else who came. Judith, you were there. Harmony was there. Panam, I met you there. Mary, you were there. Um, it was really cool. I've never quite done that before, just like a casual practice hour in a museum. I've definitely led sessions and workshops in the museum before, but not quite like that. And I really enjoyed how casual it was. Getting to meet people that I've worked with online in person was really exciting. And yeah, next time I'm in DC, I'll definitely do it again. Whew. All right. All right, let me switch to my desk so that I can actually start painting with you all in this session. You all are diligently at work. So many of you all know the drill. Not surprised. It is I, the delinquent, this afternoon. Let's get... So, all right, I'm doing all sorts of things out of order. If watching my desk, okay, is going to be helpful for you, I recommend switching your Zoom meeting to side-by-side speaker view. So you go in the top right corner, you'll see a button that says View. Click on it. You could switch to side-by-side speaker view. And then from there, take your cursor on your screen and move it to the right towards my desk. And you'll find a gray vertical bar that will appear that you can click and drag to make this as big as you would like. The inspiration for still lives today, as you heard me chatting with Xavier just now, I am going to Aix-en-Provence, La France, ce mardi, and I've been preparing. I'm joining them, their painting group. They're all going to be working in oil, but I'm going to bring some watercolors and show them some things with watercolors. So I'm really excited to work with them there. But just a um, reminder to check out their website, tons of programs online and in person throughout the year. I'm going there for a couple weeks. They got a painting program, all sorts of a group of artists from the States traveling over to do 2 weeks of landscape painting with them in the studio and out in dans la campagne. Um, so I'll be joining them in watercolor, and I've decided to get practicing ahead of time. So I've been trying to build momentum myself um, on some still lives in my kitchen, which I'll take a minute just to show you all now. But usually this is how it works when I can tell that I have a pocket of time where I'm going to be painting a lot. Like a painting trip like this, where we'll be going out, twice a day, a morning session and an afternoon session in the landscape. I definitely like to shake the rust off. I definitely like to clear the cobwebs, so to speak. So I've been painting some still lives in my kitchen just to get prepared, get used to my watercolor setup again. I've been doing mostly drawing the past month or so, and I just want to share with you all some of the sketches I did over that time. So this is all from like the last week or so, just playing with watercolor, throwing out some fruit on my table, yellow fruit, green fruit, red fruit. And yeah, just so when I arrive in X at Marchutz, I've got some momentum built up. I feel warmed up with my setup, my easel, everything, everything. And I thought, okay, well, let me continue the still life practice with you all. So we'll have a go at this painting by Chardin. I love his still lives. I figured this was relatively simple enough, especially if you're working in watercolor or drawing. There's that beautiful white cup there of light. So we could do some fun things with that in our images. So I put in the chat, I put the website for the Leo Marchutz School. Definitely check what they've got going on out if you're planning a trip this summer. If you're going to be on the East Coast this fall, or look out for some online classes with me, maybe this fall as well. And then finally, special thank you to our returning participants who regularly contribute. We are happy to offer this monthly online practice hour at no cost to our community, but if you're enjoying this program, please consider making a donation to support the mission of the Leo Marchutz School. Donations can be made at the link I just put in the chat. All right, everyone, going all out of order, but finally, let's start some painting. So, all over the shop today because I am packing as soon as this practice hour is done. I'm gonna start packing my art supplies and my clothes and stuff for Tuesday. So all my supplies are everywhere in this room. Let's blow this up. Boom. Let me try and knock out a sketch before the hour is up. Um, I intend to give you all a full hour. So even though I started 15 minutes late, I'll probably continue 15 minutes past noon. Okay. Don't feel like you have to stay that long. Okay. If you need to get out of here, if you're really planning on just an hour, that's totally fine. I understand. Again, thank you for being there and sticking around and waiting. I really hope that does not happen again.
Nick, I have a question. This is hard.
Yeah.
Do you recommend like sketching in pencil and then starting again to do a watercolor? Because in the past, when I do watercolor on pencil sketches, it gets really bad. But like, what do you typically do for watercolor?
What I typically do is I draw a frame just like you've seen here, and then I just go for it.
Okay.
Yeah,
With watercolor without sketching it at all.
correct. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna
Um, I yeah, I think I think there are definitely people out there, maybe even in this group right now, that certainly draw a little bit beforehand, and that's absolutely fine. I think for me personally, um, I don't know. I don't mix them very well. I don't mix like pencil drawings in my watercolors very well just yet. Or if I do, the pencil usually comes at the end. I really love just going for it, um, getting real like loose in the beginning and then slowly building up the image that way. So yeah, I just kind of get right in with paint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. So looking at this, there's some clear areas that I'm going to want to protect that are super light, that I'm not going to want to put any paint in. So I'm trying to get those shapes sort of blocked out in my little frame that I've drawn here. And I'm just going to get a certain area wet where I see some other lights, like these apples right in the middle with the red and the yellow. Those are the lights that I need to protect. The cup, the fruit. Um, Probably just start with that and then go from there because everything else is so much darker. I will just layer up. Um, I'll be layering constantly, so that can all come later. So I'm just making some touches for cup. Let's see. There's a beautiful handle to it too. Sort of a shadow here. Let's see. Bring that out there. And then I'll drop some yellows in. Some very pale yellows. Let me get some more white out here. There we go. So I'm still just trying to get the lightest tones in, getting some, warmth, something there. I'm not forming it into a shape just yet, but I'm also pulling out some of the light areas with my dry paper towel. And while I'm in there, while it's a little bit wet, I get some of this, some of these reds in. Right. All right, so something like that, right? Just like that. I can already see how I'm going to need to add more in the background, maybe I can get a little bit of that right now, but overall, just a quick and furious sketch of the whole. It's some warm background here. And a little more here. So I've gone for just a general sketch, and I'm going to darken the foreground just a little bit more, and then I might start pulling out the table edge that I seem to have lost. And then I'll get into some of the more nitty-gritty with the actual objects on this ledge. But for now, let me do a little bit of this. And a little bit of this. There we go. So by darkening that front little ledge right there, I am making the edge of, let's say, I don't even know if this is a table, but I've darkened the front edge, and this light where the surface of the table meets the edge of it, that's really important. And making it darker down there is going to do a lot of the work in helping us understand the space that we're painting in. All right, I somehow managed to pick up a very dark color on my brush, and I'm just going to go with it. Put those down where I see they need to go. Maybe a little bit more sienna. All right, before I continue any further, I should slow this down a bit. So I'm gonna wipe off my brush. I want to load it up with some clean water, no color. I'm just gonna scrub back in some of the light in the front here. Like I want to get that, there's that little bit of table right to the left of the handle of that knife. So I really want to get that in and maybe some of this as well. It's a little bit of light back here between the fruits. And by back here, I mean front and center, of course. And do this. All right. And maybe a touch more here. So I call this scrubbing when I use a clean brush, sort of like a push broom to try and scrub away any color on my watercolor paper. There we go. And then one last touch with a dry corner of my paper towel just to lift any of that moisture up. All right. So now I can get a little more, we could say detailed, I guess. All right, switching to a smaller brush now. And what I want, I'm going to try and return to a little bit of diligence. Let's see if I'm successful. Been running off pure momentum after the start we had to this. Felt like I had to catch up, but if we could start shaping this cup a little bit more. So I'm painting in the edge of this cup. There's a little bit of, let's see, negative space between the cup and the fruit. All right. slowly working my way around the cup here. Also, currently running out of blue paint, so getting cool tones has been a little bit difficult, but nevertheless, we persist, we persevere. See, sometimes what's fun about painting like this, where you're really, I haven't really felt like I've gotten to be able to settle into my typical strategy. So I am just rolling with whatever paint is in front of me, trying to put together the image based on what I see. All right. Oh, thank you, Pam and Wendy and Beth. Sorry I missed you all before you popped out of the session. And again, apologies for being late, but I'm glad you all were able to come nevertheless.
Hey, Nick, it's Laura.
Hey, Laura, how are you?
So I wasn't, I decided to just use the opportunity to do a drawing. I always feel like my drawing needs to improve. And but the more you look at it, the more of the shadows you keep seeing. It's like, oh yeah, here's another one, here's another one. Trying to make it come to life. But
Yeah.
it's a good one to practice on, that is for sure. But I possibly will try to use my watercolors like you're doing. I have a watercolor class coming up, and it could be my focus for that class. So that should be interesting to use watercolor then. Not against the pencil, but just without, like you did, without drawing it
Without
first.
drawing first.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I mean, Harmony asked a question about this at the beginning of the session too. I it's what I like to do. It may not be for everyone, and that's okay. But I love just diving into a painting and sort of figuring it out as I go along. Um, and I don't, it's like cutting vegetables before cooking. Like it's like the part like I don't really want to do, even though I know it's necessary to potentially have, a positive impact on my meal later. But sometimes I just like going into a painting and getting started with that. Um, and, if I need to bring in some lines, I can do that towards the end. But it's a different process. Um, I think what I teach in my classes, whether it's Marchutz or the Smithsonian or in person, um, is really the vision part so that you can use it in any process you choose, really. Some of you may have taken a class with me where I've asked you to paint from a blurred image. That's usually how I go into my paintings, kind of squint vision, summarizing things, generalizing things. That's usually how I get started. And then, um, I'll start piecing it up into different elements and objects a little later on in the process. See you, Harmony. Say Upanam. Thank you for coming.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. À la prochaine.
Have fun in X. I'm so jealous.
Thank you. You'll see photos, I'm sure.
Yay. Bye.
Yay. See ya. All right. All right, everyone. How about we continue for 10 more minutes? And then we will wrap up this session. What a tough, stubborn little shape this knife is. Oh my God. Chardin, what are you doing putting butter knives in your still life? This is difficult.
I
Probably
just
one of the,
left it out.
what's that? Was that
I
Judith?
just
You left it
eliminated
out?
it. Yep.
Yeah, I thought about it. I definitely thought about it. But looking at it now, oh my God, what a long and strange shape you are. I may I may just leave it where it is at this point.
Want to come up? I think it's a sharp knife. We just can't see the end.
Yeah, I don't think we can see the blade either.
Yeah,
The handle
the blade.
is what's sticking out over the edge of the table. Um, I wish I wish I could do this longer, actually. This is quite fascinating, but for now, that's going to be my knife. That will have to
It
suffice.
does give a nice different angle. I mean, looking at it quickly, it just gives it a different dimension for your painting.
Totally, yeah, no, absolutely. Great observation with the composition there. Because it breaks the edge of that table, which
Yes.
is really interesting. Everything else is so round, round, round. There's a round pear, some round fruit. And then when you get to the mug is so bright, and then it has this dark diagonal at its foot, which breaks up the phrasing of round, round, round happening from the left. Oh. All right, everyone. How about just 5 more minutes, and then we'll wrap this up with a photo of our work.
Nick, would you make the photo of everyone's work the front shot on the YouTube video? That was really cool.
Will I make the photo of everyone's work?
When
The
you look on
front shot.
YouTube at the thumbnails of the different Masterwork painting sessions, the most recent one,
Oh, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
that really
I can
makes
ask.
it stand out from related videos.
Sure, sure.
That's what drew
Um,
me to it.
I'll ask Rose to do that. Um, I was confused for a moment because I was like, oh, I haven't made any YouTube videos in a very long time, but you're right. Rose puts this on the Marchutz um, YouTube, and yeah, I can ask her if she'll make the screenshot, the thumbnail. All right, everyone. How about 1 minute left? So start wrapping up the part of the image you are working on. Looks like this is going to be as far as I get today. Maybe just add one more touch to that shadow. I want to get that shadow in between. Go. And then let me soften up the light on the left. You do not need to be that bright. And maybe un peu comme ça. Okay. All right. Oof. All right. All right, everyone. I'm going to take the image away in just a moment. So wrap up the part that you are working on. Real quick before I do, our next session will be coming up pretty soon, actually. So today's the 23rd. April 6th, all right, is going to be our next session. So just in a couple weeks. And yeah, so be sure to look up for the follow-up email to this, or I don't think I'm going to get a practice memo out in time, to be frank, between going to France and when this happens. Um, so keep an eye out for that. What I can do actually for you all is put the whew, all over the shop today, as my friend Gabriel would say. I want to get you the sign up link now because I won't have there we go. I won't have a practice memo out in time. Anyways, we're doing this because I'm traveling again in April, and this is the best time to do it. But April 6th, Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, will be the next practice hour. Okay. And it will work this time. I will check ahead of time to make sure that I can get into the Zoom account to start the meeting for you all on time. I am deeply, deeply sorry for our technical hiccup today. All right. So in the chat, you'll find the Zoom link for that practice hour. Click on it now and maybe minimize the window, and then you can register right after the session. Now, let me put this in gallery view so I can see all of you at the same time. If you wouldn't mind showing your work, holding it up to your camera, and I'll take a screenshot real quick. And then we'll call it an afternoon. Beautiful, Anne. Nice. Nice work, Xavier. Beautiful shadow behind the mug. You too, Laura. Great. Awesome. Thank you, Nan. Working on the fruit diligently. Thank you, Katie. All right, I will take a screenshot. Keep them up, keep them up. Beautiful. All right. All right, everyone. Thank you for bearing with me. My God. You all stuck around. I appreciate you all so much for always showing up. Even when I don't show up on time, I really appreciate you all. Um, let's keep this going, okay? I'll be painting a lot the next couple weeks. I'll have some wonderful images to share with
Yeah.
you all when I get back. And we'll practice again like this in a couple weeks, all right? And I'll have some stories. I'll bring my watercolors in, and we will start on time, most importantly. Anyways, thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Happy
Thank
painting.
you.
Keep practicing. We'll
Bye.
stay in
You,
touch,
Nick.
and I'll see you next
Bye,
month,
everyone.
okay?
Great time in France.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Vic. Nick, I had a blurry background, so my picture was looking blurry when you took the shot. But anyway, love the painting. I tried to just do it in a drawing. So
Beautiful.
anyway, okay. Thank you very much.
We'll see you next month.
Yeah. See you next month. Bye-bye.
Great. All right, bye, you guys. Pam, Ann, Nan, Carol, Great to have you here. I'll see you next time.